business minds and thought leaders share the secrets to success. Welcome to Call Me Successful.
So ladies and gentlemen, a very, very special guest with us today on Call Me Successful, Mr. Danny Georgakilas, otherwise known as Mr. ID for me. Danny, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me. Glad to be here, mate.
Thanks for coming all this way. I'm going to get straight into it. The question that everybody's wondering, where do you get the data from?
Look, that's a great question. I've been getting data for about 35 years. So the relationships I've built over those years, I'm still in acquiring data from the same people.
So where did this journey start? Where did this obsession about data, where did this business idea come from for you? Because it's been going for about 35 years, right? Where does Danny say, day one, hey, I need data?
So my career started a long time ago. I was about 20 years old, and I became a private investigator. So as a private investigator, my whole remit, if you call it, or my role was to identify people. So the only way I can identify people is by getting information on people. And by getting information on people, I need to buy databases and data sets. And back in the day, we're talking a long time ago, they were all in microfiche or CD-ROMs and so on and so forth. So you would go and acquire all this data, and then basically manually you'd have to put it all together. Phone books, yellow pages, white pages, whatever you can get. And then you start.
So where were you? This is in Sydney, Melbourne? Melbourne. Right, private investigator trying to get data to do this private investigator for what
to identify people for anything, mostly common law, that could have been private cases, etc. So, just to give you an example, they want to identify somebody, they want to identify the person so they could maybe do surveillance on them a few days later. So they'd have people like myself knock on the door and try to get information and try to identify someone. So that's how it all started.
So how easy was it back then to get that data sets? What did you have
Look,
to
it was
do?
a lot easier because back then the privacy laws were very different, and you used to have direct communication with the privacy commissioner. So you could call the commissioner and say, look, I've acquired this data set, can I use it? So on and so forth. And then they say to you, yes, you could, or no, you couldn't. So mostly back then you could, and you can get, a lot of different data sets that you can't get today.
So when did you get to this point where you said to yourself, hey, I've got something here, I can monetize this, or I can get a different business going. It's an offshoot of private investigations. When did that moment occur for you?
Look, at around 23 years old, I had set up a process serving company, and then I sold that, and I thought I'd get into locating missing persons for debt collection companies. And we're talking high volume debt collection companies. And we started basically taking on work to locate missing debtors. And by locating missing debtors, we had to set up an office. I had an office set up. I had about 14 skip tracers working for me at the time. We built it up. And basically, my role was to make sure that I had enough data for them to be able to find somebody.
So what's a skip trace? It's another version of
a skip tracer is somebody that locates missing people.
Right.
By design default. So missing people as in people that owe money, debt collection, that's where the high volume stuff is.
So your niche has always been trying to locate data and putting it together for the purpose that you wanted to do it for.
Correct.
So what was the next iteration of Danny? Like, you've got this skip traces going, all these people going, finding people that owe money to people. What happened next?
What happened next? I was in New Zealand, so I had an office in New Zealand. So I was there for about a year in Auckland, and I met an IT guy that was doing my software for our CRM, for instance, our internal software. And I said to him, would we be able to put all this data that I have into online somehow? And he said, look, yeah, we can try it. And we started trialing it back in the day. And, we were old technology, old software. And we're able to create a search system for ourselves internally.
Do you define yourself now as a PropTech company or a technology company? What is it? Is that the same thing when you first started?
I've always been like a data tech company, but now I think we're more known as a PropTech company. And the industry knows us as, well, we've been told we're the fastest growing PropTech in Australia at the moment. So, because 90% of our customers are real estate agents, probably 95%. So we're agnostic. We still deal with debt collection, banking, finance, law firms, etc. But the real estate's really kicked off. People in real estate are using the data, our systems a lot.
So when you created that system in New Zealand, did you have the same growth as you're having now?
No, No. So I came back to Australia. I sold that company, came back to Australia, and I acquired a small business that had one search criteria online, and I then put my data behind it, and we created a company called Reverse Online, which was Mirrors Online, which was within a year was acquired by Equifax Vida.
So this is a pattern forming at the moment that you come up with this idea, you find people to make it happen for you, you make it big, then you sell it on. What was so unique about Reverse Search Australia or Mirrors Online that made it so profitable or interesting for Equifax to buy
It was the
out?
growth. It was the growth. So we grew very quickly. We probably grew within the first year a few thousand% and then 5,000% the next. No one was doing it. We were the only ones in market. And Equifax or Vida back then saw the opportunity to acquire something that filled the gap in their industry, in their business. So credit reporting agency, they were doing commercial. They had no consumer data business, so they acquired us.
So when you first bought this company and then you made it what it was, what is it that you changed about it? Because from talking to you, the key to your success has been creating the relationships with different data sets, different data providers. What made it unique?
Look, that's the ingredient. The key to my success is actually finding solutions for industry. So with Mirrors Online, we found the industry solution for law firms, debt collection companies, etc., and we had thousands and thousands start using it. After that, I was in there for a few years on an arrangement, earn-out arrangement, if anyone knows what they are. And basically, I picked up another gap within the market. So when I exited there and I left, I started creating another product. And that product was, again, using data, but for marketing purposes. So it's, again, using data as an ingredient to create a product. So I'm a product guy, per se, rather than a data guy. Data is just part of the what I need to create my products.
Is it fair to say that you look at data and you're like, can I make it sexy for that industry?
Correct. What's the solution?
What's the solution?
What are they going to do with it? How am I going to create something that they're going to use?
You became someone who collates data to someone who sees the opportunity for data and packages it up for different industries.
Correct.
And that's
Correct.
pretty much led to your journey to ID for Me.
Correct. Yeah.
So when did you form or start ID for Me?
Look, I set up BitData, and that was acquired by Dun & Bradstreet.
What's it called? Sorry.
BitData. And
BitData.
BitData was a platform where you could. It was a drag and drop system where you can say, I want everyone who's 18 to 25 years old that lives in South Yarra that earns 500,000, and it'll just drop the data. So as soon as you order the data, you got a spreadsheet. So the beauty of that is it used to take 5 days to get that data in bigger companies, and I got my people to do it within a couple of hours. So once we did that, we again started making inroads into an industry in marketing, and so we were supplying data to, for instance, Experian for the Facebook campaign. So all the Facebook data was coming from us. So, but being rich in data, you can use it in a lot of different ways. So we've gone from lawyers in Mirrors Online, etc., to marketing companies in BitData, and then after that we've gone into ID for Me, because ID for Me is basically an idea from way back in the day where how can you make things easier for people to search, and why would they want to use it?
I'm really intrigued by this concept of all the data that you have.
Yep.
It's basically available to everyone. They can buy it, they can source it. How is it that you've managed to put it all together?
Because I've been buying the data for 20 years. And I've got legacy data, and I've got data sets, and it's the relationships that are the key.
So it's the culmination of the relationships and purchasing of data every time from different sources.
It's also knowing how to put it together. If you're going to go to Australian Bureau of Statistics, or if you're going to go to the census, or if you're going to get data from different parts of of society, how are you going to put it together, and how is it going to be valuable to a user?
So what year did ID for Me launch?
I think the idea came in at 21.
21.
And I think we launched 22 because we were through COVID. So probably 2022 we were in revenue.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Going back to starting when I started real estate about 10, 11 years ago, we had two sources pretty much. Like there's older agents had the Dewey Decimal cards and everything else. And then some of us came through with the white pages and the yellow pages. How did you think that you could plug the gap in the marketplace for agents? What did you think you could do better?
Look, we could give them opportunity to access data that they can never get before. So, we were already we're already in different markets. Real estate happened to start slowly for us. So there was an agent in Western Australia who was the first to use it, and he was from one of your franchises. And basically, he loved it, and he said to me, "Look, you've just created something amazing here for real estate." He goes, "Please don't share it with anyone." He goes, "I'm loving this." And then we got another customer here in the Gold Coast that started using it, and they put on agents, and the same message came from them. And then we got another agent in Adelaide. So we were looking at the discovery phase of how an agent would use the system. And back then, the system was what I call clandestine. It's not what you see today. It was like you have to put Mr. Avi Khan, address, date of birth, and then it'll search that. It's not like what we've done today. So basically, once we knew that agents would start using it, we started marketing to agents.
So this was what we call a single search bar, like a Google search coming through, or
that was later on. That was version 2.
Yeah,
and that's when it exploded.
That's when the growth just took off. And
yeah, because the technology we were using, other people used, and I said to my developers, "Look, there's a new technology coming out in the market, like a Google bar search. It's called Elasticsearch." So I said to them, "Can you please rebuild this whole site using Elasticsearch, and let's start investigating that?" And that just went off everywhere.
So the data sources, the types of data didn't change. It was just how they search for data changed.
Correct.
And you just made it a lot friendlier for users to go in and figure out who they're trying to search for, and it all came up.
Yep.
So there's a few things that I want to ask about ID for me, and we can debunk some of the myths here, right? Security.
Yeah.
There's, as you know, there's been a lot of security breaches internationally for different products. Like we've got the Optus data hack and everything else. What has ID for me done to make sure that you guys are protected in case of security breaches?
Look, we've got our certification ISO 27001, which we received after about a year of work, and that encompasses all your infosec, how you aggregate data, how you store data, who you work with, how your staff work with data, the whole lot. So we've passed all that, so we've got our certification. Also, we're a third-party data aggregator. We're not a first-party data aggregator. So we collect the data from other people that have got the consents and the rights to market it and to sell it.
So that was my next question, is the word around consent of data.
Yep.
So agents are calling people, and it's the typical question you guys come up with that stuff all the time is, how did you get my data? Like, why are you calling me? Yeah. So what do you say to agents that are worried about that?
Just tell them to call us. Just you tell them to, get it from ID for me, and then we can handle that.
Because whenever you purchase data, whenever you aggregate it, you've got the consent of the end user anyway.
Correct. We've got the originating source.
Yeah.
Because on one record, there could be 5 originating sources. There's not only one. So we have matching processes in place.
So this could be people entering competitions as well?
Competitions, emails, opting in for different things. There's a whole lot of different. There's about 30 different type of data aggregation.
So one of the concerns that some people have is the court records.
Yeah.
Like, what do you say to that?
Well, the court records is available to everybody. It's publicly available data. We've just got a relationship for many, many, many years where we can acquire that data.
That you put it together.
And we put it together.
Yeah.
So like we put the DNCR, the do not call register, for instance, the do not email, we ping our numbers to make sure that they're connected. So the data is only one part. It's what you do with the data, which is more important.
So it's almost like the metadata, isn't it? The information about the data. The next question I have is we're intrigued about this because the privacy laws are a lot sharper these days than they were 20, 25 years ago. The do not call registers and all those sorts of things. Does ID for me wash that from your data?
We wash it every 28 days.
So every 28 days by law, it's fresh.
Yep.
You don't have data there that people that can't call.
Correct. Well, we have data you can't call, but we tell you can't call.
You tell.
So it's already flagged.
Yeah. So what happens if somebody calls the data? It's not on you, is it on the person?
It's on the person.
It's on the person.
Yeah, but we handle that too.
Yeah.
Avi, just to make it clear, we probably, this month we've had no one say, where'd you get my data from?
Yeah.
And we're selling hundreds of millions of records a month. Yeah. So it's not a big issue as people may think. I think people are intrigued by the grayness of the data sets and things like that. But if they really knew how many companies have actually got similar type of services, they would be surprised.
Yeah. Something I read the other day, which was really fascinating to me, is that you guys actually validate the data. Like there's actually callers there that call and validate data.
Correct.
How does that work? Because that's a lot of calls. How many calls does ID for Me make every year?
About 7 million.
Wow.
One of our partners, we don't make it, but our partners, and that API is live every night, and we update that data nightly. And if you use our system, you'll see that there's a tick there. If it's green, it means they've been called within 6 months. It'll tell you when they were called. And that means that somebody's answered the phone. You know, they've spoken to Avi. We know that mobile belongs to you. Then you tell them the address, and then we validate that also.
So this is where I'm going with this, is because there's so many systems with data at the moment. But with you guys, like it feels like it's so more relevant, so more accurate. Is that because of the validation? Is that the people calling? Is it because you're washing it so often?
I think it's because of my experience in the industry. 35 years, data aggregator, putting businesses together, being acquired by listed companies, just knowing data. We're the foremost experts in data in Australia. So we've supplied data to every household name you could think of commercially. And, now we're supplying it to, 9,000 real estate agents and, big debt collection companies with 1,000 staff and so on and so forth, banking, finance. And we're like the originators of data online, and so through the businesses that I've created before. So we're probably 5 steps ahead, 10 steps ahead to competitors. And that's why we're able to offer these products, because there's a lot of thought, there's a lot of experience behind them.
We have this saying in real estate that real estate is the only industry where we know where our clients live. I say to my team, like, every day that goes past, that's not the truth anymore, because you got financial planners buying properties for people, accountants, buyers, agents, everything else. Do you think that change has sort of helped your product take off as well?
Look, I can't really answer that because I'm not a real estate agent. I've never been a real estate agent. I've never worked in the industry. All I could do is offer services to that industry and see what they're doing with the software that we provide. But I think having access to the data has allowed them to close the gaps where they didn't know something. If a trust bought a property, but they've still got the person's details from the past on there, so on and so forth, it's helping them and to open opportunities.
So how many searches do you have every day, say in your database?
At 160 to 180,000 a day, single searches.
So it's not that you know that the searches are happening only. It's you also know where the searches are happening.
Correct. What they're searching, who they're searching, if they did a reverse mobile, if they searched a name, if they searched to a date of birth, range, everything.
So you can tell me what are the most searched suburbs in Australia, what are the most searched states in Australia.
Yep.
So you got all this data.
Queensland.
Data. Queensland?
Queensland
is the most searched.
Most searched.
That's interesting. Which street?
Geographically, you're the largest, and you've probably got the most agents because you're a large state. So right. Second is New South Wales. Third is Victoria.
So what's the next iteration for this? Because what's coming with ID for Me? What's the next product? Because it seems like you guys are just scratching the surface.
Yep. We are. From our product point of view, we're developing the product. So we've got another version coming out, which is we're testing at the moment, which is a lot cleaner and easier to search, and it also has a different drop-down system to the current one. It also has a lot more richer data, and there'll also be alerts in there. So when you've made a contact and someone says, "Call me back in a month, I'll be interested for an appraisal" or whatever, that'll be within the system. It'll alert you to then call that person back, like a small CRM, but not a CRM. Just something there that you can keep your work on ID for Me.
But it seems to me that it's becoming so powerful that it will take over CRMs.
We don't want to. We're not an expert in all things. We're an expert in data and probably supplying the most essential things an agent needs.
So where does AI fit in with your product?
AI is something we're looking at the moment, and it will fit in. We're looking at some AI technology, some mapping technology that will assist agents in getting results even quicker and more accurate. So
what's your message to the industry or the agents that are hesitant to use it or not using it at the moment?
Look, if you're not using it, your competitors are. And my message is, you're losing opportunities by not using the information that we've got on ID for Me for such a small cost per month. It should be a prerequisite to have as an agent, because it's going to save you door knocking, it's going to save you leaflet dropping, and you're going to make contacts with people you lost contact with that you've sold properties to before. And it's going to help you let people know that you're you're on their street basically, and you're getting appraisals for properties and so on and so forth. If you're not doing it, someone else is. Agents
sometimes are just too lazy to call, or they don't want to call.
Yep.
What's the solution for them? Like if they're not calling,
call. Cool.
Sim-
I mean,
sim-
you
very
started
simple
your
message.
career calling and opening phone books, I think if you're in an industry where you're dependent on contacting people, if you're not, then you shouldn't be in that industry. I know the older agents don't need it because I do know a lot of older agents who have been, who are in the industry for a long, long time. They get their leads automatically, or their lead agents anyway. But the younger guys coming in, and we're finding most of the adopters of ID for me are the younger, new starters generation and people that have been in the industry for about 5 to 10 years. They're finding it very valuable. I mean, we go to conferences and we go to events, and we have people come up to say, "You've saved our business. Without you, I would have been out of business." They chant, ID for me, and so on and so forth, and they just love the product. And we're happy that we can provide the solution for an industry which we didn't even know about a few years ago.
What's the next industry, Danny, for you guys? What's the next?
Look, we started a small campaign with law firms, and we started getting law firms signing up now. But look, we're testing the water with a lot of industries, but we really want to focus on real estate and provide the best possible service we can for real estate services, mortgage broking. A lot of mortgage brokers are coming on now. A lot of property managers are coming on. There's property managers through one of our ambassadors that give us some amazing results of when they're using the system, what they're getting out of it for property management. So it's a matter of us. We're maturing as a business, so we're going to be having a lot more information out there on how to use the system, why you should use the system within your industry, whatever industry you're in, and some case studies and some proof.
I want to ask you about the conferences and events. Like, you guys have been very prevalent on those events and conferences. Why is ID for me choosing to go down that path?
Look, when I started the business, I realised that in this industry, or whichever industry, you need to be social. You need to be in the media, social media. You need to be out there. So it was myself, Rahul, who's now the EGM, and the third hire was a junior marketing person that did our posts, our website, all that stuff. So we knew that we're only going to reach the masses by going out there. So we started attending the conferences because we wanted to support the industry, and we still want to support the industry. And we have ambassadors like Tom and Josh and things like that. And they've been amazing for us. They believe in our product, and when the giants of industry believe in your product, well, you can only support the industry.
It seems to be the key to your success is not just the product, not just how it's executed, but how you market it as well.
Yep.
Like, what do you say to future founders out there, for example, who are starting out and who are struggling with a great product, but no one's using it?
Invest in social media, tech, do podcasts with Avi.
Do podcasts. Wow, that's lovely.
No, really, look, at the end of the day, I think you have to know your product. You have to know your market. It's easy to go and spend $300,000 a year with digital marketers and get nowhere. So you need to know that, your ROI, what are you doing, who's coming on board. You need to measure everything. Running a business isn't easy. You need to look at every aspect of it and make sure it works and have the right talent.
It seems to me that you perfected the entry into an industry and the exit as well. Is there exit for ID for me? What's
No,
no?
I love ID for me.
How big? How big?
I already exited at this stage in other businesses at this level. So,
what are the things that the public don't know about ID for me that you want to share with us?
look, what you want to know about ID for me, anyone that looks at our website and says book a demo, you can see there's there's a person that runs X amount of states. What you don't know is that there's another 18 people to 20 people behind that supporting that activity. So, you're talking from, marketing, tech, product management, operations management, the whole office, the EGM, all the way down. So there's a few of us, and we're growing in volume of talent. And I think by growing in volume of talent, you're going to see the result as a user.
So as a user, I just want to ask on behalf of the users, how do you charge them? Like, what is it per search? Is it per month? What is the?
No, it's per month. It's 130 per month. That includes GST, and then it's quarterly 360 for a quarter, and then annually it's 1320. So there's discounts if you sign up longer. And we're finding a lot of agents that started 2 years ago now going annual. So a lot of them have done it monthly, and now they're going annual.
So Danny, you're out there creating new products, marketing it well, helping the industry with your conferences and sponsorships, getting the word out there. And obviously, like from what you've said, is like the data has got security protocols behind it. It's complied with the ISO, correct me if I'm wrong, 901001, whatever
One
it
of
is.
those. Don't worry, I'll get that wrong too. It's okay.
I think it ends with 7. But what's the definition of success for you? Because you've created all these companies, everything's booming. You've worked in New Zealand, you've worked in Australia, you've owned both countries in what you do. Are almost known as the data guy, right?
Yeah,
Now,
yeah,
like everyone knows you as the data
Data
guy.
Danny is also
Data
a
Danny?
nickname from the other
Right.
businesses that I've had.
Well, I think that would be a good podcast name as well, Danny. So, what's your definition of success? Like, what drives you? Because you're so driven.
Look, I love obviously creating products and just being content and happy with what I'm doing. I don't try to build the biggest company, the quickest company, etc. But I just like to create a product where I enter an industry. There's a lot of respect for our product, and I'm making contacts, and I'm enjoying my work and the success that comes with it. But really, at the end of the day, it's instinct. So for me, I could tell any young person trying to start off, learn as much as you can. Be good at one thing, right? Because there's a lot of people that are trying to be good at a lot of things, but if you're good at one thing, so I stuck to my career as data, consumer data, starting as an investigator, it's always been data. Everything I've ever done has always been within what I do, my product data. So be good at become an expert at one thing, and your instinct will lead you well.
And you're certainly doing that well. You're having fun with it. I mean, if you follow Danny on Instagram, you'll see he enjoys his life. He enjoys what he does. And mate, I don't know how old are you, but like you look like a 30-year-old just having fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being with us today, and really appreciate your chat and
thank you very much, Avi.
Your learnings and everything you can impart on us. And congratulations on the success of ID for me, and I can see that it's going to be bigger and better yet.
Likewise, and congratulations on your success.
Thank you, Danny. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
mate. Cheers.